I've never seen a tool do this. It's really hard to show this on camera, but this has an absolute satin matte feel and it's incredible. Sometimes these larger pieces can be a little bit tougher to sand, but now with this big old flap sander, it actually puts a beveled edge, which almost seems to have a matte finish on it, but it doesn't. Now this is a rough piece off of the CNC, and quite frankly, fresh off the CNC, that's really not bad at all. But after using that sander on these pieces, they're big and wonky and kind of strange. It is really impossible to relay this through a camera, but it just feels amazing. This cool addition to the shop and a few other really cool things going on here are going to be in this video. So let's take a ride, and thanks for joining me. Let's go. So I typically do this outside, but today we did it inside for a little bit because I had to show you what this thing is capable of. I haven't quite figured out how to do a benchtop dust collector. There are some on the market, but they're upwards of $1,000, and I'm looking to do one myself, so look for that in a future video. But this thing has a capability that you just can't find anywhere else. It allows me, especially someone who makes thousands of parts, it allows me to sand the edges of things that I just wasn't able to do very easily. And also, for the smaller stuff, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stick to that random orbital sander that I have that's mounted upside down in some really fancy wooden Baltic birch jig, right? But anyway, you guys, I just wanted to show you this and on to some more cool stuff around here. Oh yeah, and back to this sander and that sandpaper. Well, get yourself some bulk sandpaper, really strong cloth back stuff, and cut the pieces in advance. I like to wrap up a set to go with it, well, or two, definitely helps. Okay, so something you might notice is there's a CNC by the front door of my shop, and it's not in the back corner anymore. Reason being, I'm selling this. I want to thank Penguin for starting this business. This machine has generated $100,000 plus in revenue for us in sales. So, but it was time to get a little bit bigger and a little bit more horsepower, and we've gone with the Avid CNC. I want to thank them too. So I'm going to put a link to Avid down below, and I'm going to put a link to my email and also my Instagram where you can send me a DM because I'm going to sell this. I'm looking, well, I'm not going to put the price here. I'm just going to be very fair. We'll tell you that. Plus, if you do buy this from me, you'll get direct contact with me. And if you have any questions, comments, even how to design, how to use Vectric, whatever else, I'm going to be kind of your, well, I guess, you know, ambassador, if you will, to give you, maybe ambassador is not the right word, but I'm going to give you insight into everything I know if you do purchase this from me. So shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there. So things have changed and it's for the better. All right, so what's new? Basically you enter the shop and the table saw is no longer in the middle. The table saw is way over there. We now have our laser in this corner with, believe it or not, the ability to walk behind it and to check out our clamp storage. Now, this setup has been something I have been dreaming of for a long time. This isn't a shop tour. I just wanted to give you insight because I will be doing one soon. You know, just freshen things up a bit before I show you. And speaking of the Avid, here it is. It is a 5x5 Pro. Avid was generous enough to send this over and have me just kind of organically show you how it's going to help our business. And it has been a huge addition to the shop. One of my favorite aspects is storage underneath. I didn't have that before. Now I could just cut a piece of plywood down outside on the Bora Centipede and bring those 4x4 pieces down here, and then it's just a match made in heaven. It works really well. As you guys can tell, I have parts like crazy that I have to get busy with, but it has been absolutely awesome to have this in the shop now, and definitely I'm gonna link them down below. So what are two things makers are always looking for? Well, more time in the shop and their damn tape measure. This product here is kind of a joke, but in all seriousness, it works really well, and here's how you can get one free. What you see behind me are small little French cleat adapters to hold a tape measure with a little bit of comic relief mixed in. Now, I know that having a tape measure at hand all the time is something that I never could find. This has helped me a lot. Not only do I have 4 of them here, I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 more elsewhere in the shop. And I am gonna sell these. They're gonna be cheap, they're gonna be $6 a piece, but they're also gonna be free on every order over $75 or $75 or higher. I'm gonna throw one in, no need to even put it in your cart. It's just gonna be in perpetuity. So I think these can really change, I don't know, your workflow, maybe? Maybe it's not that big a deal. But for me it has been, and I just wanna pay it forward, so that's why we're doing the deal. Speaking of deals, Because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing for a living now, and I've always wanted to get to this space in my life, and finally, we're here. And I finally have made these kind of really cool miniature replicas of what my products are. I mean, this is the original model, right? This is what it is, but this is kind of a miniature replica of what it is. Now, here's the deal. More people come over to this place and buy things from me than you might realize. So this is kind of a cool representation of what these products are. And we've got a sale going on too. So from Thursday to Sunday, the dates will be here at the bottom of the screen. You now could save 25% on everything Glue Caddy. Check it out. First and foremost, we're going to start with the Starbond CA Glue Caddy made from 1/4" material. This was one of the first products I ever made on a laser, and here it is in all its glory, especially in its miniature form. Next is the Glue Caddy with French cleat. This holds a multitude of bottles, accessories for all of your PVA glue needs, plus all of the 1/8 of an inch Baltic birch, whether it's Titebond CA, wood glue, or Starbond CA. These are all going to be on sale. Everything's 25% off. And why not throw in one more thing that necessarily doesn't have glue involved, but the sandpaper storage with French cleat built in. This is available as well. I mean, this is one of my favorite things that I think I've ever done. This is so cool. So look at this little, look at these little parts. They're so cool. And the cool thing about this, at least this display, is the sandpaper. It's Baltic birch. Okay, let's talk about this. This massive amount of sheet goods above my head are resting on brackets made just like this. I don't have these for sale, at least not yet. If there's any interest in something this massive, 24 inches to come out from the wall, let me know. But I love this. I love the fact that there are sheet goods up here. I can just take them down pretty easily. Again, do this according to how tall you are, but it works well. There's over 1,000 pounds, or there was before I started working with it. There's over 1,000 pounds of wood spread out between about 12 feet or so, 10 feet, and 5, 6 brackets. So it's pretty strong. It's actually really strong. And I've been here through the construction process, so I know what's behind those walls. I know how those walls are attached to this whole building. I get all that. It does help to know all that if you're going to do something which seems to be this dangerous, but I rest assure you, there's nothing wrong with this setup at all. I actually stood up there one time and it was fine. And I'm not the lightest of guys. So this is something I want to just get your thoughts on. Is this something that you think you couldn't do? Or is it something that you'd be comfortable with? I don't know. Hot take, but I love it. Okay, last announcement. Well, I'm speaking at WorkbenchCon this year along with my fellow maker, Philip Miller. I'll put everything down below in the description if you want to check it out. But we're basically giving a class on there's more than one way to start a successful maker business. Now, Philip is diving into a hyper-focused one product, one method type. I'm not even going to spoil it for you, but you can check down below. You can check it out. And well, what am I doing? I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks. I got a focus group of you guys. You're my audience, and I probably have 60 SKUs on the website at this point. But it's working, and it's generated over $150,000 in sales for 2023. And I'm here to tell you about my method and my design process and just kind of everything that goes into the ethos of what I believe and why it's been successful. So that class is happening at WorkbenchCon this year. Check the links down below. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Okay, if you're still here, well, you're a fan. You're a Glimpse Insider. Thank you so much. I don't talk about Patreon too much, but I'm going to start talking about it a bit more because it's been a very rewarding thing that we've been doing. So basically how this works, I have multiple tiers set up. Whatever tier you decide to join, the amount of money you give per month is the amount of percentage off you get on our website indefinitely, as long as you're a member. Now, my highest tier is a $50 tier. And of course, that seems crazy. You get 50% off the website. Yes, you do, absolutely. But there's one other thing about that tier. And the guys that are members of it know about it, is that if I develop a new product, if I develop even a prototype that doesn't make it, I still mass produce them for those members and ship them to them every time they come to fruition, right? So if I've got this, let me show you. If I got this 24-inch bracket here that I'm coming up with here, you may have seen it in a previous clip. This probably, I don't know, it may not come to market, but if it does, great. But if it doesn't, I'm still gonna be, when I get this thing dialed in, I'm still gonna be sending a set of these to those members. No problem, no questions asked, as long as they're a member. That's how it works. So I'm gonna link that down below too. This Patreon journey has been up and down, for sure. Let me just speak candidly, if I may, about it. I got the biggest surge of Patreon supporters after James Hamilton at Stumpy Nubs kind of gave me a shout out and showed a video about why I went full time and about some of the struggles with that we share here as a family with kids on the spectrum and a disabled wife who is dealing with chronic problems and really just kind of, I'm not going to get into it, but long and short of it was we had a massive amount of people come to our Patreon and say, look, we want to support you in this, that, and the other. As the business started seeming like it was becoming more successful, you notice people fall off. And I am respectful to everyone who has ever given a single cent to us. That is, I'm not complaining whatsoever. I want to thank each and every one of my past, previous, and past, that's the same thing, past and previous. But I want to thank all my members. But I will say, sometimes that Patreon donation when it comes in it's kind of like a pretty big deal for the month that month. It really just helps with just everything. Like I said, we are very much a month-to-month business still, and so we're just grinding. We're just keeping it going. And if you want to take part in that success with us, that campaign is there for those who have it in their hearts to it. No pressure at all, whatsoever. But thanks for considering it. That's all I got. All right, thanks for being here. I gotta run. See ya.